Hi, good evening. Are you guys able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
Yes, sir.
okay.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
All right. And
yes,
you
sir.
are also able to see the screen clearly?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Screen is clear.
Okay, so first of all, apologies for the person who was making a lot of noise in the background. And I was trying to contact the admin to mute him off. So my apologies for that. It happens.
Hello.
Uh, again, if someone, hello, hello. Please, guys, you
Yes.
have to keep your mic mute. You will not speak until I allow you. Okay, please. If you want to speak, you will raise your hand. All right. So let me contact admin because I think this admin guy is sleeping all the way. All right, guys. So let us begin. So a big welcome to all of you in today's webinar. And the crowd today, like the attendance is almost more than 265 students. So a big thank you to all of you to make this a huge success. And I would try my best to just a second, guys. Yeah, I would try my best to, come up to your expectations and make sure that you really find today's webinar very, very, helpful. Some students are not able to hear the sound, so maybe most students are able to hear, right? Yes, you need to click on join audio, join audio. Oh, okay, right. So let's move on. Let's start with today. So our strategy for 5 days, we will cover top 25 topics. Okay, and obviously we will talk about professional skills. I will take you through formats. We will discuss exam techniques, articles, syllabus changes. All this are the main and the usual stuff which is always covered in the webinar. But there is one more thing which I have introduced in this webinar, and this is entirely for the first time, and that is one full SBL question with drafting directly on the CBE platform. So, I have been getting a lot of requests especially from self-study students, that they want me to draft or do one full question. So this time I have changed the strategy, and I would do a one full question. It will take like, I believe, like almost 3 classes, 3 days, and the remaining 2 days we'll talk about the top 25 topics and all those stuff. Yes, the webinars will be recorded. Okay. And so I hope that you guys will really benefit from this new inclusion. But before we proceed, it's a manual or a CBE based. It's a CBE based approach. Okay. I don't believe any of the students are now manual. So the webinar is based on CBE approach. And what about previous webinars? So this one is December webinar. So what about the previous webinars? That's the most common question I get. So it is very strongly recommended to watch September 21 webinar if you want to cover additional topics. Okay. So this week, so it's very important that once this week you guys focus on December webinar along with me, and in the next week you should watch the September webinar. Okay, so that would help you to cover more topics, more questions, because in December webinar we are focusing on one full question, whereas in September I did a lot of standalone questions from a variety of paper, right? How can you ask questions? Now, please, I want this session to be interactive. I want, you guys to ask lots of questions, because that's how you will be able to understand things and clarify your doubts. There are two ways you can ask questions. The first way is you can raise your hand to speak. I will unmute you, and then you can speak your question on the mic. Okay, everybody will hear you. It will be easier when you speak. But if you feel that you are not in a position to speak for any reason, the other way is that you type your question in the chat box. When you type the question in the chat box, every couple of slides I will stop and I will look at the chat box and try to address your questions. Okay, Sir Rizwan, there is now Maria is now scribbling on the screen. So there are 3 students who have scribbled on the screen. I cannot proceed like this. You can see the
Sir,
screen.
I don't know why they are doing that. I don't know why
They
they are
are
playing with their...
no. I think they don't know what they are doing. They're just doing it by innocent ignorance. You know how to ask questions. Either you can unmute the mic and ask questions. Otherwise, you can type your questions in the chat box. Okay. Now, a very quick introduction of myself for those who have not studied with me ever. So by professional qualification, I'm a chartered accountant, a very old chartered accountant. I'm an FCA, and I've done several more degrees like CISA, CIA, something in marketing, something in HR. And I've been working all along. And currently, I'm the CFO of a multinational insurance broking house based in Dubai. And regarding my teaching, I've been teaching since last 20 years. It has always been my passion. And I believe that because I am a CFO, I can share a lot of business examples with you guys while I'm teaching SBL. Right? I conducted like 6 webinars for ACCA. The last 6 were conducted by me, but this time they thought of changing the teacher. So Wi-Fi offered their own webinar because a lot of students, they requested me to continue with a private webinar. So again, thank you very much for making this a huge success. In fact, there are more students here than ACCA now. So thanks for that. There is one student or few students who are having some echo. Sir, can you please check? There are some students who are having some echo. That's my WhatsApp number. There are lots of, I have a coordinator. So there are a
The
couple
voice
of
is
what.
clear is at our end.
Okay. So you see, this WhatsApp number is of my coordinator. So you can directly message to her for anything. But in case you face any problem, that's my direct and a personal WhatsApp number. Okay. And I'm sure most of you know that I manage a global WhatsApp group for SBL. And if you want to be part of that group, you need to send a request on this number, and this guy will immediately add you to this SBL group. Now, what the group does is it's easy for me to communicate with the group. If I want to share anything, I can simply put on the group any announcement, any discussion. When students, they face any problem, they can ask on the group. And surprisingly, the groups, all the participants of the groups, have been very helpful. Like a community, they help each other. So please, if you're not member of this group, so send a message on this number and you will be added to the group. Okay. Yes, the old WhatsApp group, if you're already member of the global group, then it's okay. All the previous groups are valid. The handout, today's handout, I will share after the class. Okay. Now, SBL pass rate, you can, if you know how to read a graph, if it's like this, something like this. So generally, it's kind of going up. The larger trend is upward, which is good. The last September attempt, the passing rate was 51%. It is one of the highest, right, in the history. And the interesting thing is, it's SBL on an average, you can say, has a 50% passing rate. Now, 50% passing rate is awesome passing rate if you compare with all the other strategic professional level subjects like APM, like AAA. They are very low. So SBL is good in the sense that it's got a passing rate of round about 50, which is significantly higher than all the other subjects around it. Yeah. So I think if you study well and you plan well, you stand a good chance to pass because the passing rate is around 50% plus minus a bit. All right. Now, especially those students who are giving SBL for the first time, you need to understand that SBL is different from all the other papers you have given so far. It is not difficult, it is different. There's a hell of a difference between the meaning of difficult versus different. It's different. And perhaps that's why students feel it's difficult. So why do I say it's different? It's not like any other ACCA paper you have given so far. Why? It's one integrated case study. What do I mean by integrated case study? That one case study will be given and all the questions will come out from that case study. So if you don't understand the case study, can you imagine what will happen? Most of your questions will suffer. So it's an integrated case study. Around 6 to 8 exhibits are given. Okay. And then there's a list of requirements. It is the longest paper, 4 hours. So I'm sure none of your paper is 4 hours. Maximum it goes is 3 hours or 3 hours, 15 minutes, right? So this 4 hour is a challenge. Now, why is this a challenge? Because you guys are not used to sitting exam of 4 hours. It requires physical stamina, and more importantly, it requires mental stamina and strength. So you need to build up this practice of sitting for 4 hours and concentrating for 4 hours. It will not come automatically. You need to work hard towards it. And how would you do that? With more and more mocks. When you give 4-hour mocks under exam simulated environment, that's how you will build the stamina. Okay. And then 20 marks for professional skills. 20 marks is a lot. So in all the other ACCA papers, the professional marks were 4 marks out of 100, 4%, 4 marks out of 100. But in SBL, it is 20 marks out of 100. So 20% of your paper comes from this one topic called professional skills. 20% of your paper. So if someone asks me, sir, which is the most important topic, or which is the most important chapter for SBL, I would say professional skills, because for sure 20% comes from professional skills. Less emphasis on models. It is not mandatory to use models. So if you are not sure, or if you are confused about models, then you can avoid using models, and just answer logically and you can get marks. There are various formats required. So almost all the questions, there will be some kind of format. So you have to be very, very familiar with all the formats. And this one is very interesting. 20 to 25% of the paper is common sense. And what do I mean by that? So when I study the paper, when I look at the question paper and I try to identify, okay, this question is from this chapter, this question is from this chapter, this question is from this topic. So at least 1 to 2 questions, I have no idea which chapter it is from. Why? Because it is not from any chapter. It is just a common sense thing. Now, this is good and this could be bad. It's good for those students who are smart. If they have not studied anything, doesn't matter. They can use their common sense to answer this question. And this one is bad for students who are very bookish students, and they just, memorize things from the book without using their common sense. So people with weak common sense or weak confidence, a weak level of IQ or smartness, this is bad news. All right. So this is a very important slide.
Okay.
So you need to change the way you think. When you do SBL, you need to change the way you think. It's a different paper. So whatever techniques you have learned from previous chapters, or sorry, previous subjects or other ACCA subjects, will not work in SBL, because this is a different kind of a paper and it requires a different set of techniques. Okay, got it? So the best way, now who's this? Top, give me Give me a few minutes. I will unmute you. Give me a few minutes. Let me finish this slide too. Okay. So, uh, so what I realize is that when you start thinking like a CFO, so when you are in the exam hall, do not think that you are a student. Do not think that you are writing to the examiner. This will make your thought process difficult. But when you start thinking like a businessman, start thinking like a CFO, you will feel automatically that the case study will become easier. It will boost up your confidence. It will clear your thoughts. So you need to get out of that student mentality and think like a CFO. I'm pretty sure that most of you have common sense, otherwise you would not have reached up to this stage, right? So you understand some basics. So it's just how you think and how you look at things. So start thinking like a CFO, and whatever answers you are giving, for example, if you are writing a report, don't think that the report is going to the examiner for checking. No, just think that this report is going to go to the board of directors. So your drafting will automatically change when your mindset is that this report is going to my CFO or my CEO or to the board. Automatically your drafting style will change. So please, you guys, try this technique of having a mindset of CFO while attending this paper. So I think I would, for the next 5 days, I think I will call you guys CFOs. Is that okay? Right, CFOs? No? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, if you're a CFO, your salary would be $10,000 at least. So even if you're not comfortable in thinking like a CFO, just for the heck of earning $10,000, say yes. All right. Right, Top, are you trying to ask something? You can unmute and ask, please. You need to unmute. $10,000, yes. If you can earn 10,000. Top, are you there? Okay. Right. So we need to understand why students they fail SBL. And being a teacher, I get a lot of feedbacks from students that I failed because of this, I failed because of that, and many students says, I don't know why I fail, I thought I would pass. But I really don't give a shit about what students think when it comes to the reasons why they failed. I'm more interested in finding out from the examiner. The examiner is the guy who's checking your paper, and he is the guy who's failing you or passing you. So let's look at his comments. And the last available examiner report is of March-June 2021. So these are the 8 weaknesses. Can you see the 8 weaknesses? So in nutshell, these are the reasons why students fail SBL. Obviously, someone will not fail because of all the 8 reasons, but even if you miss 1 or 2 weaknesses, if you have 1 or 2 weaknesses, you might fail. So the first one is answers not linked with the exhibits. That's a very common thing. You know all that. It's mandatory to link your answers with the exhibits. No general or theoretical answers is acceptable. This one is a new one. Merely copy pasting materials from the exhibits without adding own comments or explaining why the point is important or relevant. So because of the CBE, now students can easily copy paste, right? So they copy in a whole paragraph from the exhibit and they paste it on the Word document. And that's it. So just imagine that you are a marker, you are a paper checker, and one student, what he's doing is he's just copy the paragraph and pasting it, copy and pasting it, and khalas. Would you like to give him some marks? No, it's not a copy pasting paper. How would I know whether that bugger understands the concept? So please, copy pasting is allowed. Don't take me wrong, it's allowed, but you need to then add your own thoughts. You need to justify or explain why you have brought this point on your answer sheet. What's the logic, or what's the impact, how this is going to affect my business, whatsoever. You have to have your own comments after copy pasting. You just can't leave the paragraph, copy paste and move on. You will not pass. Okay. Now, poor technical knowledge and professional skills. And then this one is a new one, excessively short responses. So the new ones I'm highlighting in blue. Excessively short response means that the student is just writing a one-liner answer. So for example, he copies a large paragraph, he or she copies a large paragraph, pasted on the word, and then it says, this is a weakness. You understand? So you copy a whole paragraph and then you just say, this is a weakness, or this is a risk, or this is favorable, this is unfavorable. This is not enough. One line, you need to explain or defend or justify at least 2, 3, 4 lines for the examiner to forget the examiner, for the board to understand what's going on in your mind, right? And then not reading the requirements carefully, insufficient number of points. Now this one is a new one, weak grip over word response tool. Weak grip over word response tool. What's the meaning of that? Because it's a CBE paper, the examiner also needs to know that you are good with word and keyboard and you're able to type a report. Okay. So using the Word document properly with headings, with bolds, with italics, with center, tables, it should visually look professional. So those of you who have not used Word document before, like MS Word, then you must practice basic. It's not difficult. Yes, Saad, you're right. Absolutely. Right. So, and students not doing practice on CBE platform, that's a very bad thing. The examiner can immediately make out that this student has no clue about how the CBE works. So you have to do a lot of practice using CBE platform itself. And I will be using CBE platform throughout this webinar as well. Now, what are the recommendations? Practice using CBE platform. Do 1 or 2 full mock exams under time conditions and get your answers checked by a teacher or a mentor. This is a preparation stage. This is how you will practice that. You need to, all the SBL questions you need to practice on CBE and then do at least 2 mock exams under timed conditions and then have it checked. From an exam techniques point of view, use case materials in your answer, explain how the point you made is relevant, allocate time wisely. So time management is a big challenge. Constantly refer back to questions to keep focus and present your answer professionally in the word response tool. Do I have any questions so far? One common question I receive is the typing speed. So many students, they feel that their typing speed is not good, or do you require professional level typing speed? My answer is no. Nobody expects you to be a professional typist. Okay, if your typing speed is normal, you can survive. Why? Because we will be copy pasting some stuff, so that would save time. And then you, even if you are slow, you can catch up, because when you're copy pasting stuff, you are saving some time. However, sometimes the copy pasting functions doesn't work properly sometimes. So in that case, unfortunately, you will have to type. So it's always better to be hands on with the keyboard. Now Hassan is asking 45 words per minutes. I have no idea 45 words per minute is good or bad. So I type like this, tick 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 tick. I look at the keyboard and I type. I don't care, but at least I'm not fast, but I'm not slow. Okay, so all right, let's move on. If you don't have any questions, because I want to focus on. So for
I have a
students,
question.
yes, please.
Sir, like you said, sometimes the copy pasting functions do not work properly. So in that case, do we have to write or draft line by line the things mentioned in the question, or is it okay that we skip some words or write it in our own words?
That's in fact better. I mean, if you can write in your own words, it's better, but might be very careful that you don't overrun the time, because when you start drafting in your own words, you might spend extra time.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right. Okay. Now, those of you who have given SBL before, like research students, so I just want to tell you that those of you who failed between 45 and 49. Now, who's that? So people who scored in 40s, mid 40s or late 40s particularly. Vikash is 47 here. Mubashir, you are causing disturbance. Mubashir, please be careful. 49, 49, 43. Oh my God. Vaibhavi, you are there? Okay, I thought you had passed. Oh God. So a lot of students are stuck in 40s, right? Yeah. So people who scored in 40s, it is my assessment that there is nothing technically wrong with you guys. Your knowledge is okay. Where you struggle is weak linking with the exhibits, or weak professional marks, or insufficient number of points, or weak. So these are the exam techniques where you struggle. Maybe you did not do proper mocks. Maybe you did not practice sufficient. So people who are in 40s, you do not have to, you should not spend more time in knowledge. Instead, you should spend more time in practice and professional skills and exam techniques, right? But those students who scored less than 40, like 42 or below, you also lack technical knowledge. Okay. So unfortunately, you will have to improve or upgrade your knowledge, as well as focus on the professional skills and this and that. Right. So this is just to give you an idea what to focus on, especially for students who are in 40s. Do not focus on knowledge. You have to focus more on practice, right? Whereas students who are below 40s have to focus on both aspects, knowledge and skills. Weak knowledge, so Ahmed is asking, weak technical knowledge, does it mean we need to have book knowledge? Not really. Book knowledge. So again, as a CFO writing to the board of directors, you don't need book knowledge, but basic concept has to be there. And if you watch my webinars, if you watch my September webinar, and so it will take care of your knowledge area. Okay, stay away from the book, never go near the book. So what are the technical knowledge to focus? That there is always top 25 topics. Yes, Uzair?
So if there is something I cannot find in the scenario context given, so I can use some generic comments.
I will answer that. I will answer that once I come to that slide. Okay. I have this in my slides. Why do you want us to stay away from the book? Because book will take time and it is not a theoretical paper. The book will make you a donkey. It will make you a hard worker, not a smart worker. There are alternates available for the book. For example, you can watch videos, YouTube, webinars. They are more effective. I don't want you to become a bookish person, because then you will not be able to perform in the paper, because you will have a bookish mentality. SBL is, if hardworking was the criteria, then donkeys would have been the richest person on the earth. Correct? Are donkeys the richest person on the earth? No, because hardworking is not the thing, it is smart working. Yes, Abdul, yes, you're right. I'm coming to that. Hold on. So any questions here? I have all the questions you're asking. Give me a few minutes and I will be there. It's all there. Okay. Now let's move on. Yes, Naveed, I'm coming. So this is $1 million slide. Come on, CFOs. So what I have done is I have prepared a suggested study plan. Guys, please, you have to restrict your questions. You have to ask only those questions which are pertaining to the topic or slide under discussion. You are not allowed to ask questions which are from that corner or that corner of the syllabus. Okay. I will in the end give you 10 minutes to ask any kind of question. But when I am speaking, you have to ask questions on that topic. Please do not flood my chat box with unnecessary questions. Okay. Salman and couple of more people. Okay, please focus on this and ask any irrelevant questions towards the end. I will give you time. So week 1. So there are like, how many weeks are there to your exam? I think there are 5 weeks from now till your exam. Approximately you have 5 weeks, right? So week 1 is from 1st to 7th November, like from today, Monday to Sunday, right? And then week 2 is from 8 to 14 November and so on. Week 3, week 4 and week 5. So week 1, Debbie, what kind of question is that? Are you a CFO? Watch December 2021 webinar and practice the questions using CBE platform. Yeah, you see. So this week, just focus on December 2021 webinar, and whatever question I will do, you do it tomorrow morning with your own hands. All right. Next week, week number 2, you watch the entire September 2021 webinar and practice the questions on the CBE platform. Entire, all the 5 days. So September webinar combined with December webinar is, I think, more than enough preparation, keeping in mind the time constraint, right? So please, this week and next week, just focus on the two webinars. This week is December webinar and next week is September webinar, which the recordings are available on YouTube and Vimeo and also in my Google Drive, which is part of the SBL group. Okay. Now, week 3, you need to practice the following SBL questions on using CBE platform. Right? At least these 4 questions you have to do properly using CBE platform. Sana is asking, I have watched the September webinars already. I can watch the June webinars? Not really. If you have watched September webinar recently, like this week, last week, then just, proceed with this plan and you will have some spare time in the end, which you can do more practice. Okay. Week 4 is the difficult week. In that week, you will need to do 3 mock exams under strict exam conditions and have it marked by some teacher or mentor. Which questions I suggest? Do these questions as mock. Okay. These are some, hand-picked questions. These are questions for general practice, and then these 3 questions you should do as mock. Proper 4-hour sitting mock with stressful environment. And then week number 5, which is the last week, you can just revise all the papers of SBL you have done and just, maintain your confidence. Stay away from books and revision kit because, as I explained a few minutes back, you don't have the time and the books will make you very theoretical and bookish, which is not appreciated in an SBL paper. Why stay away from revision kit? Because A, you don't have time for a lot of practice. B, the questions from revision kits are basically XP1 and P3 questions. And third reason is the suggested answers are very weird. It will shatter your confidence. So I don't want anything shaky at the last moment. And just wait, hold your comments, I'm coming to it. Just use webinars and practice case studies, right? And you can join my WhatsApp group. All the webinars, material, notes, case studies, past papers, everything is there. So you can message on this number to join the WhatsApp group. Now let me take questions. One person asked, is this plan enough? Yes, it is enough, but it depends. It varies from student to students. I know students who followed this plan in September and 2 of them scored 83 marks. First attempt, entirely self-study. They just followed the plan and they scored 83 marks. And then there are lots of students who scored in 70s, 60s, and even 50s and 40s. So it varies from person to person how smart and fast you are. But if you ask me, is it possible? Yes, it is possible. Abdul Ahad is asking, should we use webinar slides or your notes? So Abdul Wahab, if you don't have time, then webinar is short and concise. If you have a lot of time, then you can refer to my notes. By the way, I don't encourage notes because it will make you a donkey. Interactive live video is more effective than notes, right? Is there any technical article, my friend? I just requested everybody, don't ask questions which are not relevant to the slide under discussion. This is my last warning. Okay, you are flooding my inbox. I will ask all, touch upon all these things, but in the study plan, do not ask questions like technical articles for December, please. Let me go through some more. Sir, if we are studying, how can we get our mocks marked? Okay. Okay, I think I'm done with the questions.
When you put your
I muted them. Yes, Uzair, you want to ask something? You raised your hand. Uzair? No? Yes, Saad, I'm doing that. Yes, Amina, I just answered this question that this 5-week study plan is enough. Why would I give you an incomplete plan? Okay, so please be attentive. Now, who's this person who is unmuting again and again? Miss Beauty Kambi, you are unmuting. Please be careful. Okay, done. Let's move on. So now I also offer, most of you know, a mock based practice class. Mock based practice class. But it is a paid session. Okay. And what we will do is, it is a very exam focused session. It is starting from 6th of November, which is right after the webinar. The webinar is ending on 5th, which is a Friday. And from Saturday, the mock session is starting. It is 40 plus hours of live practice sessions. We will do 4 SBL question solving and 3 mock exams. So the entire this plan, when you go back, this plan, I mean, you can do it on your own, but if you feel that, you lack some discipline or you need assistance, then all these 4 questions and these 3 mocks will also be conducted by me in a private group. And very, very intensive session. And especially this mock is very, very beneficial for those students who are resit students and those students who scored in 40s. You will understand your mistakes, what went wrong, your skills, all those things will be improved. So if the cost is not a lot, I don't remember the cost. I think it is $85. And for Pakistan based students, it is like 10,000 Pakistan rupees. Okay. But believe me, it is a very, very intensive session. A lot of blood and sweat will go into this. It's really worth investing this money if you feel that you need some help. June 2021 exam included in this? What do you mean by June? Yeah, all my currently paid batch students, you are there. So my currently the full-time students, my full-time batch, it's part of your, it is already included in your package. But those students who are not in my full-time batch, you are just resit, you want a refresher or a practice thing, this is the small investment. Believe me, I mean, it would be really helpful If you want to register or take more information, just message my coordinator and she would be very happy to guide you. Okay. Why the 6th and not 15th as per the study plan? I didn't understand, Lauren. Bakhtawar, you can message me privately. I'm not able to understand what you're trying to say. When you will conduct the mock, okay, I will just show you the schedule so that you can see you are available or not. But anyways, all the sessions will be recorded as well. So this is the schedule which, for the mock, that from 6th and 7th we will do one question, and then 8 and 9 we will do another question. This is all like late night, like 8 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. so that working students, especially in Africa and Europe, can also attend. Then another mock, sorry, not mock, practice, another question, practice, and then the first mock will be held on 21st November. It will be marked and you will be given feedback. And then second mock will be held on next Sunday, like 1 week after that, so that you can utilize the feedback and fix your errors. And then another mock, optional, if you feel up to it, so that you get into the form and the flow of giving the paper. Okay. Yes, Musa, definitely. Yes, Tala, is for sure. Okay, let's move on. Now, this is the list of important topics, and I have bifurcated it between models. So you need to look at 10 models and some topics, around 15 topics. So in total, there are 25 topics which the examiner tends to focus on. Obviously, this is not 100% guaranteed list, but I can safely say that it is accurate 80% of the time. Okay, there's always some surprise topic, there's always some common sense topic. Study plan says 15. No, the study plan does not say 15. Now this one is for private. Yeah, so you guys do privately. I mean, this plan is for students who do not want to do the mock or join the mock, right? Got it, got it. Okay. So all these topics are covered in September webinar. Few of the topics are not covered in September webinar. So I have mentioned where, in which webinar you can find those topics. So you can easily cover these topics by depending on the webinars. Where can we find link for recording lecture of this webinar? Again, you're asking something which is not relevant to the slide. Another thing is syllabus changes. So a lot of students are very nervous that there has been a syllabus change, and a lot of rumors, a lot of teachers are, um, uh, doing some scary talk about syllabus changes and conducting huge seminars. It's not like that. First of all, the changes are very, very minor. Okay. Few topics, like 2 topics have been added and 1 topic has been deleted. So artificial intelligence, robotics and machine learning as a topic has been added, and it is a very easy topic. I will cover this topic on day 4 or day 5 of this webinar. Another topic which was added was 4 line of defense. I will cover that. In fact, these were also covered in the September webinar. And Tucker 5 question model was deleted, which is good news. And other than this, just cosmetic changes from here to there, from there to here, just explaining some things in more detail. Forget about it. Just chill. These 2 topics we will cover. Other than that, there is no significant change. Right? Technical articles, again, there is no new technical article in the recent months. In last 1 year, there are 3 articles on SBL. One was cyber security. This was like many months back. It was covered in March 2021 webinar on day 5, and it has already been tested in, I think, the last paper or last to last paper. And the last 2 articles are principles of e-marketing and AIs. So AIs we will, automatically be covering uh, shortly, like in day 4 or day 5. Yes, Bakhtavar, absolutely. In June attempt, cyber security was tested. So as of now, there is no direct or latest technical article. AI wasn't tested. Yeah, I know. So I will cover AI and little bit of e-marketing in on day 4 or day 5 of the webinar. Okay. Yes. Do you want to start a big SBL question now? A lot of talking has been done. Are you guys ready? Huh? Let the game begin. Well said. All right. So which question I have selected? It is basically SBL specimen paper 3. I was thinking of 2 questions. I had a choice between 2 questions. One was this question, and one was called NCCP, which was the last published paper on ACCA's website. But I didn't go for that because that was a non-profit organization. So I wanted more mainstream question. So maybe uh, it covers a lot of topics. That's why I selected it. We will talk about how to assess options, diversifying risk, financing structures, project variables, governance structure, analyze culture. Culture, very tricky topic. Weakness of MIS, recommendations and KPIs. So that's why I selected this question, because it's got a large variety of requirements. So do you guys have access to the CBE platform? So I hope you guys know that ACCA provides you with a CBE platform. You can practice on it. In fact, most of the SBL questions are available on the CBE platform. All right. How do you go to CBE platform? You can just Google. Where can I Google? I want to Google. Okay, let me open. So you can go to your basically you need to go to your My ACCA, and there you will log in, right? You will log in, you will see once you log into your My ACCA, you will see login to practice platform. You will click that, and then you will see all these, maybe, I don't know, you will see various subjects including strategic business leader. When you will click on strategic business leader, it will open up some sections like past exam library, practice exam. So practice exam, specimen papers. So all this you will see. Okay. So we will do SBL specimen 3. So let me open my thing. So I'm opening my platform. We teachers have a different kind of a platform. You can see all the subjects here. I will go straight away to strategic business leader. I will click that. ACCA official resources. Okay. Past exam library, practice exams, and specimen questions. So we are doing maybe is specimen paper number 3. So I will click on specimen exam, and specimen 1, specimen 2, I will assign specimen 3 paper. It will appear on the left side, and now I am opening the paper. Right. So those of you who are giving SBL for the first time, when you open your SBL paper, this is how your screen will look. Okay. So on the left hand side, there are exhibits. Can you see my mouse? Like there will be exhibits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 exhibits. And then there are tasks. Tasks means questions. Okay. So task 1 means question number 1. Task 2 means question number 2. And the marks are also mentioned alongside task 3B, 3C, task 3A, task 4. These are the questions. And then in the towards the end, you will see response options. So there's a word processor, there is a spreadsheet, like 2 spreadsheets, and slides. Slides means presentation slides. Okay. So for SBL, we would be focusing on word processor. And if the question tells us about making some slides, so we will use slides. We generally don't require Excel or spreadsheet for SBL purposes. It's not mandatory. So I would always suggest that you stay away from spreadsheet. Just focus on word processor and slides. Now you can you can remove or increase this like this. So I would just reduce this. Now if I open the word processor, you just need to click word processor and a small window will open, but you need to resize it. So I normally take it here. So you can resize by going on the right down corner here, right, like right and down corner. You will see here, when you bring your mouse here, it will show, and then you can resize. So I generally keep it like this, and I will move it to yeah, okay. So again, I reduce and increase the window size. I will keep it on this side so that I can read. For example, I can read and I can copy paste stuff. Okay, so prepare a report. I will just copy this, Control C, and I will bring here and Control V. So when the advantage of keeping 2 windows side by side is you can read and right away copy paste, read and copy paste. Okay. Wait, someone is asking something. Mateen, what's wrong with you? Why you are sending dashes? Okay. So you understand how it works? Now there's these are some basic, tools of bold, italic. I will show as we move along. Your voice was gone. Okay. It's okay now. Oh, okay. Thank you, Mati. So, you understood this bit, that I prefer keeping two windows together, like parallel, simultaneous, so that I can read and I can simultaneously copy paste on the word processor. Is this clear? Like, do you understand this? This is a very important technique. Please, can I have a yes if this is clear?
Yeah.
Thank you. Very good.
Yes,
It's
sir.
easy, very easy. So I will close this and I will close this. So that's how your CBE platform looks like. In the exhibits, the first one will always be an overview of the company or introduction of the company, and it will give you the background of the company. And then the rest of the exhibits would be more specific and more detailed. Now let's go back to this one. But before, so what do we need to do? When you guys open your CBE paper in the exam, what is the first thing you will do? We make a list of requirements on Word tool. So you see, where are the requirements? All the requirements are here. Task 1, task 2, task 3, 3, right? All the requirements are here, but they are not all on one page. The reason why I want to make a quick list of requirements is so that I can remember what are the questions. Why? Because when I'm reading the exhibits, it will help me identify and do my markings and referencings. So the first thing we will do is, or you should do, is make a list of requirements on Word tool in the CBE platform, and then we will copy paste relevant sentences from the exhibits under respective question number. I will show that once we start. Time management. So we all know the paper is for 4 hours, right? Out of that, reading and planning, we have to spend like 60 minutes, and drafting 180 minutes, or I can say 1 hour on reading and 3 hours on drafting. Now it's not hard and fast, it is just our own internal bifurcation. So if you complete your reading planning before 1 hour, you can immediately start drafting, right? Nobody will stop you. But if you don't complete your reading within 1 hour, you should never overrun on the reading time. You must stop reading wherever you are, discontinue reading and move towards drafting. Okay. Now, do you know about exhibits? There are two types of exhibits. Few exhibits are 1:many and few exhibits are 1:1. Most of you know that, right? Yes. So I'll just quickly go through it. 1:1 exhibits are those exhibits which will be used in just one specific question. So that exhibit is very specific to a particular question. Whereas 1:many is an exhibit which contains a variety of information, and that exhibit we can utilize in more than one question. That is why it's called 1:many. So can anybody tell me which exhibit will be more lengthy or larger in size? 1:1 or 1:many?
1:many.
Exactly, very true. 1:many exhibits are relatively longer than 1:1 because they contain information about multiple questions. And similarly, can I ask which exhibits will be more complex and difficult? 1:many or 1:1? Any rough idea?
One is too many.
1:many, exactly, because it contains a variety of information. So that makes it a little bit more complicated, lengthy, difficult. Now, how do we distinguish or identify which one is 1:many and which one is 1:1? A, through the length or the size of the exhibits. So 1:1 exhibit is normally less than a page, half a page, quarter page, maximum 1 page. And 1:many is generally more than a 1 page exhibit. That's one hint or indicator. Secondly, board minutes, annual reports, websites, these are typically 1:many exhibits, whereas financials, specific topics, articles, they are 1:1. So you can judge by the length of the exhibit, you can judge by the topic or the name of the exhibit. It's not very difficult. Hmm? Why do we need to bifurcate? That's the big question. Because read 1:many exhibit first, and then 1:1 exhibit if 60 minutes are not up. So you understand, we are trying to prioritize our reading. That we first read 1:many exhibits. They are more important, they are more complex, they would cover more number of requirements, and then we can move to 1:1. So you don't have to read the exhibits in sequence. You read the exhibit based on their characteristics, which is 1:many or 1:1. Any questions? The last thing is, when you are drafting, you have to keep track of the allowed drafting time for each question. That's very important. So when you are answering a question, and move on to the next question. Time management is a killer. Hello, is now okay? Screen is okay? Yeah, all right. So time management is a killer. Time management is extremely crucial in SBL. So you have to manage the reading time. You have to manage the drafting time for each question. Okay. How much time we allocate? We allocate 1.8 minutes per total marks. Okay. Remember this, huh? 1.8 minutes per total marks. The last thing is number of points. So you need to decide before you start drafting how many number of points you are supposed to give. So how come people are logged in and they are in a shopping mall or having a nice time with their friends, and also they are logged in into the webinar? I don't understand. Number of points. So what is the rule here? For a normal question, 2 marks per point. This is what is suggested by the examiner as well, that how they give marks, 2 marks for a well-defined, well-explained, well-rounded, well-linked point. 2 marks per point. So can anybody tell me For 10 marks, how many points? Please, everybody. For 10 marks, how many points? Yeah.
5.
5.
Exactly 5. Okay. Not minimum 5, not maximum 5. Exactly 5. For 15 marks question,
7 to 8.
yeah, okay, that's very smart because we can't have 7.5. So minimum 7, maximum 8. 7 or 8 points, depending on the availability of the information. Very good. Now, another important thing is 1 point should be 1 paragraph. So what a lot of students, they make a mistake. They write several points together in 1 paragraph. They squeeze many things under 1 paragraph and their paragraph becomes very large and lengthy. Whereas what the examiner wants or what the board of director expect is that when you present them a report, each paragraph should discuss 1 discrete point. That's how the logic says, right? 1 paragraph will talk about 1 thing at a time. Second paragraph will talk about another aspect. Third paragraph, another thing. So now, if the question is 10 marks, again coming back to this, how many points are required? 5 points. Now, how many paragraphs should I expect for a 10 marks question?
5 paragraphs.
5.
Paragraphs. Very good. And if the question asks for 7 to 8 points, then how many paragraphs to cover 7 to 8 points?
7 to 8.
Exactly. It is as it is as simple as this. It is as simple as this. 1 point, 1 paragraph. So the examiner, when they are checking your paper, they count the number of paragraphs. So if you put 3 points in 1 paragraph, what will happen? Can anybody guess? If you squeeze in 3 points in 1 paragraph, what will happen?
It will be taken as 1 point.
Look as one.
Yes, because the examiners, they are in a hurry. They need to check X number of paper in a very short time. So, so you run a risk of putting everything in 1 paragraph. So just make sure that 1 point, 1 paragraph, make your life easy, simple. Very good. Now, the last thing I want to talk about, when I say this 10 marks, or when I say 15 marks, what do I mean by that? I mean total marks. Now, what is total marks? So each question has 2 types of mark: technical mark and professional marks. And when you add both of them, it is called total marks. So how you will decide the number of points? You will look at the total marks and you will divide it by 2. Is that clear? Not technical marks, not professional marks. Just keep it simple. Whatever is the total marks, which is technical plus professional, you just pick that and divide by 2. Very nice. Is this very clear? Number of points. I've tried to make it very simple. I need a yes before I proceed.
Yes.
Yes.
Good, very good. Already my throat is now. Let me clean it.
கொஞ்சம் தோத்ததில் விட்டு கொஞ்சம் கட்டி தரேன் தண்ணியா.
Very good. Elson, what are you doing, Elson? Now, there is few exceptions to the rule. So by and large, we follow 2 marks per point, right? There are few exceptions and they're very easy. First exception, if it's a weakness plus recommendation question. So the question says, identify the weakness and suggest recommendations how to fix the weakness. So these will be considered as 2 points. So one is identify the weakness, it will be 1 point. And then when you are supposed to give recommendation to fix that weakness, that's another point. So when you get a question like this, identify the weakness and recommend, then you have to follow this rule, 2 plus 2, which is 4. 2 marks for the weakness and 2 marks for the recommendation. Similarly, if the question says identify the key risks, yes, Hamza, I'm coming, and recommend type of a question, again, there's the same philosophy, the same concept. 2 marks to identify the risks and 2 marks for suggesting mitigation actions. So together 2 plus 2. Okay. So now if it's a 20 marks question, okay, and it says identify the key risks and suggest mitigation actions. How many risks are you supposed to talk about?
5.
How,
5.
how did you arrive at 5? How did you arrive at 5?
20 divided by 4.
Just divide by
Divided
4.
by
You just divided by
By
4. Very smart, very smart. Absolutely correct. And if it is 18 marks, then what happens? Then 4 to 5. Okay. So it is judgmental. It is dependent on the information available. So you need to plan this properly when you are starting the question. Okay. And the one last exception is this one. So if it is a question of finance, if it's a question involving financial ratios or financial projections or some kind of numbers, some kind of calculations in a question which is financial focused, try to give 1 or 2 extra points. Why? Because finance is supposed to be your strong area. Here you can, take the liberty of giving 1 or 2 extra points so that you can score a couple of extra bucks. Okay. Right. Are you guys tired or you want few more minutes before we take a break? Ahmad has asked, I will give a break. Just give me 10 minutes. Huh? Ahmad has asked a very interesting question. He says, what about 4 risks and 6 recommendations? 4 risks and 6 recommendations? No, don't go like that. 1 risk and 1 recommendation. I mean, you can have 2 recommendations for the same risk, but I would consider that as 1 point. So 1:1 should be the relationship. Okay, we can't be creative here. Break. Let me So what's the time now? We started 7:38. Oh, we've got some time. We started at what? Dubai time 7:30, 8:39. I think we just give me a few more minutes. Few more minutes. So now, Nabi question number 1. Nabi question number 1. It says required. Prepare a report which assesses and appraises the two options from a strategic perspective. Assess and appraise the two options. The report should allow the board of NABI to compare and contrast the two options. So I think that these guys have two options and they want us to analyze or assess both the options. Marks 20. And then professional skills marks are available for demonstrating evaluation skill in assessing and appraising the information the board of NABI will need to use to form the basis of their final decision. So evaluation skills, 4 marks, total marks is 24. Now be very, very attentive. I'm going to ask you, first of all, how many number of points?
12, sir.
Excellent, 12 points. How many paragraph?
12.
But we'll see. This is a very tricky question. But just to get an idea, 12 points. And if there's a financial involved, then can we increase 12 points to 14 points?
Yes,
In
sir.
case there are some financials involved, so as I said, for a financial question, let's give a couple of extra points. So I think 14 points, just to give an idea. All right. Now tell me, how much time should we allocate to this question? 24 total marks into 1.8.
25.2 minutes.
43.
25.2.
24 into 1.8 is how much? Right? Very good. So I know that I need to look for 14 points and my maximum time is 45 minutes. Let's say it's 43.2 will be difficult to track. So I either do 40 or 45. Okay. Now, can anybody tell me now think like a CFO. So I give you two options. Okay. So for example, I have this girl who is interested in becoming my girlfriend. And I have this girl who is also becoming interested in becoming my girlfriend. So I have got two options. And they are mutually exclusive. I can't have both. Okay. So I need to choose which girl should I go for. So can you guys help me assess and appraise the two girls or the two options? What would you look at? What would you look at?
Pros and cons.
The pros and cons. Okay.
We have to cover both negative and positive sides.
Baba, I have two options. How can I choose? I will look at pros and cons. Okay, what do I look at? Where is Bhabhi? Bhabhi is here. Come on, guys. What will I look at? You're not that dumb.
Cost benefit
Most
analysis.
Now,
beautiful.
so will you look at, like, I would look at the looks. Looks will be one criteria, like beauty. Someone mentioned character. Very nice. Aisha said loyalty. I don't want loyalty, so whoever is less loyal, I'll go with her. Manners, education, adjust with your lifestyle, compatibility, personality. Vakas is very, Vakas, well done. Wealth, very good. Future, affordability,
Understanding.
understanding. You see, I will all look at all these things. I will compare and contrast. I will look at the pros and the cons. So one is beautiful but dumb. The other one is not beautiful but very intelligent. How can I decide? It
Depends
depends.
on the choice.
It depends on the board. The decisions lies with the board. My job is to identify the pros, the cons of both options, and then let the board decide. Okay, for maybe for some guys, looks is more important than brains. So that person will go for a beautiful girl. And for some people, intelligence and loyalty is more, smartness is more important than looks. That person will go for the intelligent girl. It depends on various school of thought. So let the board decide. Now, in a real business environment, if someone comes up with two options, what factors would you look at? NPV. So can I say, Ahmed, you are saying financials. NPV is part of financials, right? NPV, IRR, payback. So definitely financials. Varda, I don't understand suitability, feasibility, acceptability. I don't know models. Don't go for models. Financials, definitely yes. Non-financial, Shehani is saying financials and non-financials. Interesting. Can you
Internal and
elaborate
external
on
factors.
wait, first I'm reading comments, then I will give you chance. So can you expand on non-financials, like what? Whether it meets our objectives, synergies, external factors. What about internal factors? Our strengths, weaknesses. Very good. So whenever we look at options, we just look at external factors, internal factors, and financial factors. Would that cover everything in your view? That we will look for some internal, external points like growth, how it affects our customers, market share, competition, this and that. Internal factors will mean that do I have the expertise, the human resource, the technologies, and financial factors, obviously, how it contributes, ethics, culture is all internal. Done. Synergies with current, very good, very good. Someone was trying to speak. Was it Leo? Okay. I think so. Yes, you can use SFA. You can use SFA. But as I said, I don't like using models, number one. Number two, if you watch my previous webinars, September webinar, June webinar, I always have advised that don't use SFA for everything. Yes, Aisha, use SFA only where the question asks you whether we should acquire this company or not. So for an acquisition question, you might like to use SFA, but other than that, just use common sense in comparing, like the two girls, right? Now, which chapter was that? No chapter. It was just common sense, beauty, brains, wealthy, looks, nature. Just like start thinking like a CFO. Okay. So what I will do, what approach we will take, we have been given with two options, option A, option B. How we will compare and contrast. We will look for external factors, we will look for internal points, external points, and financials. Yes, Uzair bhai.
So can we start this question talking about the impact of these factors on our stakeholders?
No. Why? The
Like
question
said in
doesn't
the
ask you about stakeholders, right? The question says compare and contrast the two options. So you just look at the pros and cons. Huh? Don't complicate. Now, the second thing is evaluation skill. Do you know what evaluation skill is? 4 marks. How
but
will
we
you
have
score?
to cover both positive and negative aspects in a balance.
Yeah. Um, Financial projections. This is for tomorrow. Okay. So professional marks, professional skills, evaluation skills simply means that we give arguments in a balanced way, giving both pros and cons. So when we are looking at the two girls, we were looking at both pros and cons, right? We just can't focus on pros and ignore cons or the other way around. Similarly, when we look at options, we look at the good points and we look at the bad points or the risks. So as long as you cover both good points and bad points in your assessment, you will automatically score evaluation skill, because evaluation means that you evaluate 360-degree, the good as well as the bad points, pros and cons. Got it? They don't have to be 50-50. It's not like, okay, 4 pros and 4 cons. No, it all depends on the availability of the information. But at least if there are 8 points, then if 6 are pros, then 2 should be cons. But generally based on availability of the information. You don't have to look for equal split, but just make sure that you do cover the pros as well as cons in your answer. Quantity or mix doesn't matter. Any questions? Okay, now let's take a
I have a
break.
question.
Yes, please.
Sir, if a particular question has asked just about the benefits of a particular anything like so, there we will not focus on negative aspects. So what?
Very
We
good.
have to evaluation skills.
Uzair, very good question. I will repeat Uzair's question so that everybody can understand. Uzair has asked that what if the question says assess the benefits of this thing, and the professional skill says evaluation skill. So you guys tell me what to do.
We should at least draft at least one point.
Very good, Aisha. At least we should include one negative point. Okay, for example, the question says, what are the benefits of a CRM? Okay, and it says demonstrate evaluation skill. So we will talk about 90% of the benefits, but just make sure you put one bad thing just to score the evaluation skill. Maybe the risk. Yes, Kevin, very good. The risk or disadvantage or a caution point, anything which will tell the board that you have covered the full picture. Okay. Yes, Alvin.
Sir, how do we bifurcate between the two words, the assess and appraise? Like, what does
Don't,
that?
no, you don't need to bifurcate. Just do not get into this kind of nitty gritty. You will make your life difficult in the exam hall. Forget, you think the board is interested in assessing means something else and appraising means something else. Just understand the gist of the question. Okay, don't stuck in these specific terminologies, otherwise it will give you a very high stress and disturb your time management. It will make you confused in the exam hall. Keep it very simple and basic. Okay, Alvin?
Sir, one last question.
Yes,
So,
please.
for example, if there is some financials given in the question, like investment appraisal or kind of like that, so it is necessary for me to show workings or a kind of reference something.
If there are financials, is it necessary to do the workings? No. Will you show the workings to the board of directors as a CFO?
No, sir, just kind of reference like to the numbers which are given in the context.
What do you mean by just trying to reference back to the numbers?
Like for example, the profits are shown as like it's a falling trend. So I can either if a financial position is falling, there is a financial risk and kind of.
I don't know. Now it depends on question to question. So once we come there, then we can discuss, huh?
Okay, sir.
All right. So let's take a break. And then we will start and this question of 24 marks. Let's take a 15 minutes break. Is that okay? What's happening? Whoa. Wait, my guys, my pen is stopped working. 15 minutes. So it is like 9:25. It is 10:25 in Pakistan. So 10:25, 35, 10:40 p.m. sharp. Okay. Break starts now.
Sir, you are the co-host of the meeting, okay?
Yeah, okay, thanks. the decision will be faulty and the company will be screwed and
Guys, please you.
Hi guys, can you hear me and see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So let me check everything is in order. Okay, guys. So now we are good to start with our question. So we have to read the introduction, exhibit 2, exhibit 3, exhibit 4. Okay. But do you remember what is the first thing we have to do when we open the paper? Can anybody remind me what is the first thing we do when we open the paper?
Read the
The
questions.
requirements.
We make a list of the requirements. Okay. Yeah. So copy the requirements. Yes. So how do we do that? I will open the word processor. I will reduce the size. I will reduce the width. And task 1 is this one. Huh? So the task 1 says, so Mateen, paper-based exam, I'm not going to discuss paper-based exam in this webinar. But if you want to understand paper-based exam, you can watch September day 1 or maybe June day 1. That will help you guide you how to handle a paper-based thing, right? So let's copy. Prepare a report which assesses and appraises the two options. We already read that. I will control C. The screen is not correct. What do you mean by that? Someone is saying the screen does not look proper. What about others? Is the screen okay?
It's okay for me.
Yeah, majority says it's okay. Thank you. All right. So I will just control C and I will write control V. Which question is this? Question 1. It says prepare a report which assesses and appraises the two options. So this question is basically about two options from a strategic perspective. Enough. I don't want a lot of stories. Okay. Now, what's the next question? I will close this window. I will go to task 2. So 2A says, it says prepare a briefing notes, blah, blah, blah. A, an explanation of the appropriateness to NABI of diversifying risk by going into hotel business. Okay, I will copy this. I will go here. I will say question 2A is explanation of the appropriateness of diversifying risk by going into hotel business. Okay, what about this one? B, consideration of the key factors which will influence the financing structure the board of NABI might choose. Okay, control C. I come here. I write question 2B. basically the financing structure. I'm just bolding the keywords so that I know what that topic is about. Number of marks, you can, but it will take more time, right? So we can always look at the number of marks when you actually start drafting, right? So, or if you want, let me see if I can copy the entire thing. How does it look? If I copy this and the marks like this, Control C, let me paste and see how it looks. If it looks okay, I have no issues. It looks okay. Very good. Thank you. So question 2B is 8 marks, which talks about financing structure. You know, the marks is not really important at this stage because we are not including the professional marks, right? So there is no point, but okay. So what else? Question number 3A. Prepare a report, A. Recommend, which includes recommendations with justifications of the measures which will be important for tracking all major project variables to ensure satisfactory progress towards the achievement of project goals and the successful opening of the hotel. What a long requirement. So this is question 3A. Importance of tracking all major project variables. That's the topic. Okay. And then 3B is an explanation of the implications both for the board of NABI and for how the business is managed of the governance changes needed should a venture capitalist provide the equity funding needed for the hotel project. Control C. I have no clue what that is, but I will just paste it and I will look into it later. Governance changes. That's a big topic in itself. And C, an analysis of the current culture of NABI and assessment of how the culture may change. Control C. So the question 3C is current culture. Got it? What's left now? I will close this window. Last question number 4 is basically prepare a presentation with appropriate A. Identification of the weakness of the current management accounting information. This is weakness of the current accounting information. And then question 4B would be recommendation for improvements and identifying key performance indicators. Okay, I will copy this. So now I spent like 3-4 minutes, but I made a list of all the requirements. Can you see the requirements? One is prepare a report which assess and appraises the 2 options. That's one. Then there's something about diversifying risks. Then there's something about financing structure. So these are the keywords which you should remember, try and remember. Tracking all major project variables, governance changes, current culture, and weakness of the SISCA KPIs, all those things. Very interesting. Now what I'll do is, Now, what did we discuss? What things we look at for when we compare options? There were three things, right? Can anybody remind me what things we look at when we are comparing options?
External, internal.
Factors, internal factors, and
Pros and cons.
Financial.
financials. Okay, okay.
Financial.
Yeah. So how many options are there? Option 1 and option 2.
That's all.
And what do you want me to talk about? Is that okay? So I'm already giving some broad headings so that, this is my actual answer. So I can, start drafting. So I'm just giving broad headings. I will copy these for option 2 as well, so that when I'm reading, I can just copy paste information in the right places. Now, do you know any idea about this topic, diversifying risks?
Yes, product diversification, industry diversification, and geographic diversification.
Very good. There are 3 levels of diversification. We will talk about it, but it is product diversification, industry diversification, and geographical diversification. So you understand, I'm just trying to create some basic headings based on my theoretical knowledge, and then I will start linking with the case. So enough. Control U, and Control U. Now let's read. So let's read the overview first. Are you guys able to see this or read this? Let me zoom. Yeah, that's better. All right. How do you highlight? Oh, here's the button highlight. So Nabi Company is a family business which owns and operates 8 restaurants in Caputo, the capital city of the country of Sealand. Caputo is located in the south of the country. It's a family business, owns and operates 8 restaurants in Caputo, and Caputo is the capital, and Caputo is located in the south. So I think this is a very important paragraph because it tells us about the structure and the nature of Marwa. Now, Nabi has been in the business for the last 35 years. So they're old guys. During the time, the company has created some of Caputo's most iconic and best loved restaurants. The theme of their success is renovating and restoring historic buildings, transforming each one into a beautiful and original restaurant. So you understand what they do? They renovate historic buildings and they convert it into a very nice original restaurant. The founder, Graham Nabi, is also the chief executive officer of the business. Graham has a strong personality and his view have tended to dominate the direction of the business to date. Graham's three sons have all joined the family business and together with Graham form the board of NABI. So interesting paragraph. I just highlighted that the chair, the CEO, he's got a strong personality. Figure 1 shows the current reporting structure and ownership of the business. So there's a chief executive officer, which is Graham. He has 40%. And then there are three sons. One is finance, one heads finance and IT. His name is John, 20% shares. The other is restaurant operations headed by Peter, 20%, and HR and marketing by Andrew, 20%. And the restaurant managers, they report to the operations guy head. So there are how many directors are there? Can anybody help me? How many directors are there?
4. 3. 3.
Trader.
Oh,
Oh, how three?
4.
4, yeah.
4.
4.
4.
CEO is also a director, right? You cannot be a CEO and not a director. So 4 directors. One is the CEO and the other are the 3, working directors. 3 directors. Oh, sorry, 4 directors. Sorry. Yes, Bhaktawar, wait, I will do. I'm first highlighting. Now, the board, NABI board is considering the future strategic direction and investment plans for the business. Interesting. I've heard this word somewhere. Where have I heard this word strategic direction? Was it somewhere in the requirement?
Question 1, strategic perspective.
Ah, strategic perspective, strategic direction. Okay. The sons have suggested that NABI should pursue a strategy of product diversification and enter the hotel industry. Okay. Product diversification and enter hotel industry. So what industry they are in currently?
Restaurant.
Restaurants.
They are into restaurant.
restaurant.
And how many restaurants?
8.
8 restaurants. So now the sons, how many sons?
3.
3.
3.
Very good. This is the smartness. This is what you need to, remember about the scenario. They are saying that we should pursue, they have identified a new business opportunity in the north of Sealand. North of, where are we?
South.
Oh, we are in the, Caputo is located in the south of the country.
South.
Whereas they have identified a new business opportunity in the north of Sealand to renovate and restore a historic building, formerly a bank, and turn it into a hotel, which will be operated by NABI. Very interesting. However, Graham, who's Graham?
Founder of NABI.
CEO.
CEO founder. He is one of the sons or the dad?
Dad.
Oh, he is the dad. Whereas Graham believes that the business should continue with its current business model of converting historic buildings in the capital city into restaurants and wants NABI to open another new restaurant in Caputo. So this is the dad, huh? And the sons, they want a hotel in north part of the country, and the father says nothing doing. We should continue with the same business model and open up one more restaurant in Caputo. Graham and his 3 sons seeks advice and guidance about the opportunities available to them. They have commissioned you as an independent, self-employed management consultant. What is this?
Our role.
It is
Sir,
our
also,
it is our role. Very good. They have commissioned you as an independent, self-employed management consultant to provide them with information and analysis to support their future plans and advise them about their choice of strategic direction. Khalas. Interesting background. So it's a family-owned business. 8 restaurants in Caputo, which is south of country. Original founder is Nebi. He's got a strong personality. He tries to dominate the discussions. He's got 3 sons. Now the son wants a diversification from existing business model. They want to go to north of Sealand with the hotel business, but the father is adamant that they should continue with the existing business model. So these are the 2 options which they are thinking for future direction. And you have been engaged as a management consultant to help them decide on these things. Any questions on the introduction exhibit? Are you very clear on the background of the business?
Yes, sir.
yes,
Please
sir. Easy.
put yourself in the company's shoes. So now, where can we use these information? For example, Graham has a strong personality. Okay, this is difficult. What are the options? What are the first option? And what is the second option?
The first option is the product diversification and enter the hotel industry, and the second is to stick to the current business model and open a
Yes,
new
sir.
restaurant in Caputo.
Can I copy this and put it somewhere in my answer sheet?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Where?
In question
Head,
1,
heading,
option
sir,
1 and
option
2.
1.
Option 1. Option 1, and then from here I will take it to option 2. I will cut it here and paste it here. Are you guys understanding this?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So we have now identified both the options and put it here. Now, one interesting thing. I saw the word product diversification somewhere. This one. Did you see the word product diversification?
Yes.
Sir.
And I remember there was a question on diversification of risks. Which question was?
Question 2. That it means risk too many.
Very good. So can I also copy this sentence
Yes.
from here till here? Because the son wants product diversification, and maybe I will try to use it somewhere. I don't know. So I just copy pasted this information here as well. Understood?
Yes.
Now this last thing, Graham has a strong personality.
Culture.
Culture.
The culture.
So I don't expect you, because those of you who knows the topic culture, so we can immediately use this point in culture, because the culture, it comes from the leader, the top
level management power.
Yes. So
Yes.
yes. So can I just copy this? Which question was culture? Yeah, this one. See, so I'm reading exhibits and I'm dumping, copy pasting and dumping information under the respective question number. Once I'm done with the reading, then I will go and start editing. I will start drafting. I will add my own comments and frame my answer. But right now I'm just copy pasting some facts and figures from the scenario. Let me look at the chat box for any questions. Power culture. Yes. Yes, you're right. It is power culture. Now, someone is saying can't hear. Nadeem, I'm not sure it is product diversification. You're right. It's not product diversification. Maybe I can, put it somewhere here and then decide later on what to do. Okay. Now let's close this exhibit. Now, article about Nebi restaurant. What do you think? 1-1 or 1-1?
1-1.
How do you know that?
It's an article. You mentioned it.
Article.
Because
What is
it
the
is
size of
specific
the
to particular.
How many pages?
Also, it's a one-page article.
It's less than 1 page, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That's a 1:1. It says another prestigious award for Nebi. Does it sound positive or negative?
Positive.
It's positive.
Positive.
Yeah, so
Success for
all talking about the good things about this Nebi, another prestigious award. So I'll just skip it for the time being because we are lack of time right now. What about this transcript of Nebi's board interviews?
One too many.
I remember I had said board minutes. Board minutes or transcripts of board interviews, they are generally one is too many. They are supposed to be long. Is this lengthy? Let me see. Oh, you can see how many pages here? Page 1 of 2. 1 of 2, and then it means there are 2 pages. Oh God, it is too lengthy, but we have to read. Right. So now what I want is this question open in front of your PC? Or you're just watching?
yes, sir. Sir, it is open.
Yeah, but I would like to know about the majority. Do you have this question in front of you on your PC, on your CBE, or are you just whoa, who's
Only
this?
watching you, sir. Only watching you.
Okay, guys. Okay, but from okay, but from tomorrow, you guys must have your own CBE open so that you can watch me and do your practice in parallel with me. Okay, from tomorrow. It will be really helpful. So today you can watch so that you can understand the technique. But from tomorrow, I want you to practice alongside me. Okay. All right. So let's read. This is what a transcript of Nebi's board interviews. You asked each member of the board, who am I?
Management consultant.
I'm the management consultant. So I'm internal person or external person? External. Okay. You asked each member of the board to express their thoughts on company performance to date and future strategic direction of the business. Whoa, I know this word, future strategic direction. Below is the transcript of their views. Graham, the CEO. I am very clear about our future strategic direction. We should continue to build on our strengths and core competencies by expanding our restaurant portfolio in Caputo. One of our clear aims is to maintain growth in our core markets by retaining the values associated with our current restaurants. If we continue to deliver excellent service and our unique and innovative fine dining atmosphere, we will continue to differentiate ourselves effectively from the competition and deliver more of the success we have achieved to date. Oh. Can I pick 1 or 2 sentences only rather than the whole story? What about this?
Yes,
we should continue to build on our strengths. Okay. Where can I? Okay, let me highlight it. Okay. Please mute. Who's that? Okay, then he's saying we have been successful in attracting and commanding intense loyalty from our restaurant staff. We know that the restaurant industry is renowned for long working hours, and often kitchen staff will work longer hours than they actually paid for. Despite this, our staff turnover is relatively low in an industry known for high staff turnover. We talks more about staffing. Staffing is external, internal.
Internal factors.
Internal. Okay, let me highlight and then we will think about it later. I know that to expand the business, we will need a cash injection. And if we undertake the hotel project, it is likely to come from a venture capitalist. Very interesting. Did you understand that? That if we go for
Yes, sir.
hotel option, then we might need more capital, and then there we need some venture capitalists to invest money in our company. Okay. I fear that it will mean substantial changes to the input the board will have in the future strategic direction. I understand that external investors can bring benefits, and I know there are weaknesses that we need to address, not least our reactive planning approach, da 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 da. Interesting. So for me, this sentence is important here. Rest is all blah 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 blah. So in each paragraph, if you notice, I try to pick up one key sentence, maximum two key sentences. Our reactive approach means we can change the strategy as we see fit. This approach is unlikely to be sustainable once the business has external ownership. We can currently take a longer term view and have the freedom to act in our best interest. I can see that my expensive company car will not be seen as an essential by potential external investors. I believe the cars we drive are part of the status and reward for a job well done. Whoa.
That is talking about the symbol.
Wait. What is this guy trying to say? Can anybody explain to me in layman terms? What is his problem?
Can I explain?
Who's that?
That.
Uzair, I need very short. Huh? I don't want you to confuse 300 more other students.
Sir, basically he's saying that if we remain independent and if we remain autonomous, there is no external ownership. So we can decide best in our remaining in our own interest rather than having an external ownership who have share of our ownership and taking their decisions can exploit us.
Good. Anyone else wants to try? What
Yes.
this guy is saying?
Me?
Yes, please. Short.
Yes, I think he is saying that the venture capitalist will be short-termist. He's looking for profits for now, whereas they are long-term focused. They have long-term interest in the business, so there will be a bit of a clash.
Is he looking forward to external investors or is he trying to avoid them?
He is avoiding.
Avoiding them because it's a family-owned business. He is the dad. He can dominate his sons. He can do whatever he wants. But the moment some external investors they come, then his days are over. Then he cannot be so lavish and drive expensive car, and he cannot get away with whatever he wants. Do you understand this basic thing?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So let me see what. So now this, please mute the person, guys. I don't like it. If please mute. Who's that causing disturbance? Thank you. So what is, can I now copy paste some stuff? Where can we copy paste? We should continue to build on our strengths and core competencies. Can I use it somewhere?
Option 2.
Option 2, very good. Option 2 would be here. Option 2, yeah. And what about, we have been successful in attracting and commanding intense loyalty. Working hours, staffing, right? Option 2.
Internal factors.
Internal.
What about this point? We should continue to build on our strengths. Where do you want to put that? External, internal?
Internal.
Internal.
Because it says
Internal.
we should continue. Competencies is internal. Competencies mean your expertise, your experience. Okay. I know that to expand the business, we will need a cash injection, and if we undertake the hotel, it is likely to come from a venture capitalist. It will mean substantial changes to the input of the board. Where can I use this?
Financial.
Financials. Substantial changes to the board is financials.
The first
board-
sentence.
Huh? Substantial changes to the board. So board is not financials, it's internal, right? Or if you are getting confused about internal, external, you can remove the heading. I mean, you can just lay out your points in a logical sequence. It's not really important. Yeah.
So if you make a wrong difference between both, so can examiner penalize us on this or no?
Come again.
So if we make a wrong distinction between internal and external, so can examiner penalize us on this?
Little bit, yes. I mean, if it's a big mistake, like it's a very straightforward thing, then yes, you will lose marks. But if it is
something subjective,
if it is subjective, then it's okay. No big deal.
Okay.
So this one is difficult. Huh? We can currently take a long-term view. Yes, please.
You ruled out financials or for consideration of the source of funding when people raise that a venture capitalist or using internal funds is a financial consideration for the strategic options for either option 1 or 2.
You are right, but that paragraph did not told me anything about sources of funds and this and that. It just said that the board composition will change. So the focus of that sentence was on the board composition.
Oh, okay.
If it had
said the ownership structure will change, then some share of ownership with the venture capital.
Structural change, it's not financial. But financial will always be some numbers, right? So there will be a financial exhibit. Then financial means numbers. No number has been given. So I will take it as a structural change or the structure change or internal changes. Okay. What about this? We can currently take a longer term view, and if short term versus long term, where will this go? This is a very difficult one because it is another requirement.
It's internal.
This one.
Their own freedom and kind of their own objective.
Yes. So I would take it here. Question number 3. You see, can you read question number 3? What will be the implications if a venture capitalist joins in? Okay, so it will take a little bit of time. Okay. What about this car, expensive car? Any idea?
So it will be a symbol in culture web.
Yes, it's a topic of
symbol.
culture, like symbol. Very good. So those of we have not done this topic as yet, but I would like to copy paste and then I will explain to this tomorrow when we do that topic. But for the time being, where is the culture thing? I will just spot expensive cars is part of culture, symbols. Now done. What is John Nebby? Who's John Nebby? He's the finance and IT director. Finance and IT. So now let's read the 4 paragraphs. Can you read on your own while I also read and then we can discuss? Time starts now. You can read on my screen or on your own screen. So, but read on your own. Time starts now. Please mute. Okay, I'm done. 30 more seconds for you guys. Please write done if you are done on the chat box. Okay. Our current investment criteria are for projects to deliver a positive NPV at the cost of capital chosen and to achieve a payback within 5 years. Where I can use this information?
Financials.
Financials. Very good. Very good. Because that's a financial criteria set by the finance director. So this is option 1 or option 2 or both? Maybe both.
Both.
That's our financial criteria. Very good. And it is important to regularly to report regularly on the progress to enable effective monitoring and control of the investment project. Can anybody tell me why did I highlighted this particular sentence? What is the word which got my attention?
Monitoring and control.
Regulatory.
Monitoring and
Monitoring and control.
Why would I talk about monitoring and control? Which question? Any question?
investment project.
Project.
The
Before
project
regularly.
initiation document, PID.
Project.
PID.
Project management.
I saw the word project. And I remember that there is one question, something about project. Can anybody tell me which question was that? Project. I remember project somewhere. Ah, you see? So this is how you, when you read, you have to keep your eyes open for some key words. So what are the key words? Two options or strategic options, and diversifying risks is the key word, tracking major project variables, governance or board changes, culture. So that is why I saw the word project and I thought let's copy paste and put it there, and then we will decide later how to draft and what to do with this point. Now this one, the feel of the property is one that could be developed, first movers advantage. What is this thing? Option one,
External
option two.
factors. External
External
factors.
factors.
It's strength, internal
Yes.
factor.
Option one, option two.
Option
Option one.
two.
Two.
One. No,
Option
one.
two.
One is the hotel one.
Yes, sir. Option one.
And what about this one? We should also be taking advantage of the grants that are available for businesses choosing to invest in north of Sealand.
External.
Option one.
External.
External option one, option two.
Option
Which one is
Option
that?
one.
Hotel option
Option
one.
one.
Very good. So these are plus positive points or negative points?
So it is positive point for the diversifying into hotel business.
Positive or negative? Relax.
Positive.
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 What about this one? This one is positive, negative.
So it's positive.
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 Exactly. Very good. Now, this paragraph, please read now. Very important paragraph. Whoa. Take your time, no worries, no hurries. Once you're done, please type yes so that I know when to start. Okay, all right. Very good. So can anybody tell me what is this point about?
So can I see?
Bank versus equity. I want someone else to try. Bank versus bank financing or bank loan versus equity financing. This guy is comparing loans with equity financing. Was there any question on
Finance structure.
Yes, financing structure.
Very good. So when we talk about financing structure, which question is that? Diversifying risk, no. Financing structure, yeah. So here we will say,
2B.
basically we talk about equity financing and there is debt financing, and I will explain that. But for the time being, we will just copy paste the information here and then we can format it and talk about it. Where is everybody clear what I just did? It
Yes,
talked
sir.
We
about
just linked the
interest,
exhibit.
Yes, sir.
loans, and I copy pasted in question number 2B. And I think to some extent we can also use this point in option number 1 as a
Yes, sir.
disadvantage.
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
So can this not be used in the internal factors of option 1?
That's what I'm saying, that we can also use this point there as well. So let's copy paste there as well, okay? And then we will decide later on. Option 1. Are you guys clear what I'm doing? I first copy pasted this under that financing structure question, because financing structure, it compares loans versus equity. And then I also copy pasted this point in question option 1 because it talks about, option 1 as well. Everybody clear? Yes or no? Okay. Now read the Peter Neby operations director, time starts now. Peter Neby operations director. Class will run, maybe I think class will run today with a slight overrun. Depends on you guys, maybe half an hour more. I think we will not be able to complete this question today. So maybe we just read and then we do the drafting, start with drafting tomorrow. Is that okay? I think you guys will be tired. So at least do the reading and referencing tonight. And then tomorrow with a fresh mind, we will start drafting. So maybe 30 more minutes max. Okay. Please read Peter Neby restaurant operations. What is this guy got to say? Thirty more seconds. Done. So again, my initial concern was not being able to finance the hotel without external investment and potential dilution. So this is option 1. Option 1.
Financials.
Financials. Are you sure?
External.
No, it's not external. It is dilution of our shareholding. Maybe internal or financials.
Internal?
Yeah, I think internal is better because it doesn't tell me any numbers. So financials, it has to be NPV, payback, profits, all those things. Numbers. So it is internal. Okay. My main concern is now is that the hotel sector is characterized by high gearing. That is one. So hotel, if they go for hotel, it may have high gearing. That is a concern in the hotel business, which is option 1. High gearing would be where?
External.
Internal.
Financials.
External or financial?
It, it's
Cannot be
internal.
external.
Internal.
Or financials.
Internal factor.
Okay, let's put it internal because we don't have numbers. But if we have numbers, then we can put it under financials. No big deal. It is a subjective thing. I know that my
Say on the previous one.
experience with restaurant can be transformed. Option 1, where?
Talking about strength, internal.
Strength, internal, yes. Because experience is human resource, internal. Okay, now what is this guy, HR guy is saying?
Sir, this experience thing can also be put in the diversification.
Alvin, please speak one by one. Alvin, please go ahead.
Sir, this experience thing can also be included in the diversification thing also. Diversification question also. The last paragraph.
How? Product diversification, industry diversification, geographical diversification. Where you will fit this point? Human resource. But do you agree that it first will go under option 1?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then we'll think how we can fit it under diversification. Now the last thing, what is the HR and marketing guy saying? Please start now. Aha. Too much detail. I am done. Thirty more seconds. Licia, can you ask this question tomorrow when we are drafting? Okay. Yes, Muzammil, you are right. Too much information. That is why I'm just picking up 1 or 2 sentences. I'm just skipping the rest. Okay, the market conditions are suggesting that maybe it's now time to diversify. I saw this word diversify. Which question?
Question 2.
The risk diversification, question 2.
Yeah, you see, whenever I see any keyword, I just copy paste and I will decide later what to do. And what about this? We know that restaurants play a bigger role than ever in hotels. So we are still playing to our core strength. What is he saying?
Internal.
Option
So,
1, option
internal.
2. Yes.
Option
2.
Very good. He says
Two.
that, in hotels, in hotel business, restaurants are playing more and more important roles. So we can actually add value. Very good. Done with this exhibit. Financials, we can do financials tomorrow with a fresh mind.
Sir, was it option 1? Or
Option 1. Option 1. We will do financials tomorrow, but I just want to show you how it looks. So John Nebby has put together information on the two potentially mutually exclusive investment options, restaurant and hotel, background, initial investment, proposed project, duration, cash flows, discount factors, investment appraisal data, present value for restaurant, and then there's something for hotel. Very interesting. He's calculated everything. Very good. Good boy. Good boy. Let me reduce the view. You see, it looks proper. Financials. So financials is which exhibit? Exhibit number 4. Can I write here so that I don't forget exhibit 4? So I know that for financials, I have to look at exhibit 4, correct? One last small, is it small? No, it's not small. So do you want to end now, because I feel that saturation point has come?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Learning curve.
Yes, sir.
That's fine. I don't want to push more than you can absorb. So tell me, guys, I just need few more minutes. Let me close. So tomorrow, I think it would be more helpful to you if you have your own CBE platform and you read and you highlight and you do it on your own alongside me. Do you think that would be better, or the one which we are doing right now is better?
That would be better.
Yeah.
Our own platform
If we do parallel to
Second option, sir.
Second option, right? That's, you should also be hands-on with the keyboard, your mouse, and these things. This will only come to practice, hands-on experience. So please, tomorrow, please try your best that you either have a laptop or a PC in front of you. But before you join tomorrow's class, I want you to do all these things which we did today. Can you do it? Like, you first, tomorrow in the daytime or in the afternoon, evening, before the class starts, I want you to copy paste all the requirements. And then I want you to read the introduction, exhibit 2, exhibit, that's it, right? So whatever we did today, I just want you to copy paste the points like I did. Okay. So that from tomorrow we start together from the same point. I will not give you extra time during the 3 hours. It will be a waste of time. So before the class starts, please, copy paste the points like this, and then we can build upon that. All right. Was this helpful? Do you get an idea how to referencing first?
Yes, sir. It really helped us.
Yes, sir.
So referencing is just the first stage. Referencing means copy pasting. The second major stage is drafting, which I will show you tomorrow. But before that, you need to have all the points in place so that we can start drafting and editing together, right? So thank you very much, guys. The recording of this will be uploaded tomorrow on the Wi-Fi's YouTube channel. And I will also try and ask them to, share the link on the WhatsApp group. So those of you who are not there on my WhatsApp group, you know how to add yourself. You just send a message. Where is that slide? Yeah, you just send a message on this number and you will be added, so that when I share the link tomorrow, you know how to access the video. Right, guys?
So, one question.
Yes, please.
All this referencing is to be done in the first 1 hour.
First 1 hour, yes.
Okay.
Today we are slow because I'm trying to teach you the technique. I'm very, very slow deliberately. Yes. Right? But more and more you will do, like when you join my mock based practice and you will do like 4 questions, automatically you will build up speed.
Okay, okay, sir.
See you guys tomorrow, 8:30 Pakistan time. All right. Take care, guys. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Welcome. Bye.
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 Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
Good night, sir.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Is the record available today?
No, tomorrow.
All right. Thank you. Cheers.
Bye. Cheers.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Tomorrow.
Sir, one last question. So the font gets changed when we copy from the exam in exam exhibit to word processor.
Yes. We will check that. We will look into that. Okay, we will look into that, how to manage it.